Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're listening in an audio format. My name is Justyna. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here, welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week starting on the 3rd of November. Just so you know, I also post the written format of these horoscopes on my Instagram account. Every Monday, I combine astrology with human design as well on my Instagram account. So if you want to have a look and see what's happening there, then come along. And you can also listen to these horoscopes on my Spotify channel as well. All right, so here a very busy week. We've got a full moon in Taurus, we've got Mercury retrograde as well. So lots of important events. Uranus retrograde, which I covered already in the monthly horoscopes. This week I want to focus on the full moon in Taurus, Mercury retrograde, and some transits in between, which I didn't cover in the monthly horoscope. So as always, I follow Western astrology, tropical zodiac, and you can check, you can jump straight to your horoscope by checking the timestamps in the comment section and the description box down below this video. So thank you very much, and let's begin. All right, so hello Aries and welcome to your weekly horoscope. So here this week we start with your ruling planet Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius, into your 9th house, and this energy throughout the month of November will make you crave more spontaneity, more freedom, more adventure, more adrenaline even. So a wonderful time for engaging in educational activities, and wonderful time for self-growth, self-development, workshops, activities. Perhaps you might have this really strong urge to learn something new, to book a trip away, or perhaps start a new business. So here there's a twist. There's a twist because Mars, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it will oppose Uranus in Gemini in your 3rd house. So this energy can bring some unexpected twists, unexpected news as well, perhaps some last minute changes to some travel plans, for example. So generally, if something unexpected happens during this time, try to take a deep breath before reacting. Because whenever Uranus is involved, it's better to remain flexible, adaptable, perhaps have a plan B if you're going to be traveling or if this is an important day for you. So generally, flexibility, adaptability will help you to get through. All right, so then we've got a full moon in Taurus happening on the 5th at 13 degrees in your 2nd house of money, income, self-worth, resources, possessions. So this could potentially bring a financial situation to light. Something that you need to address, something that you need to deal with. Perhaps you will be finishing an important project during this time, or perhaps this could be about making important financial decision, receiving some payment, for instance, or perhaps this could be about realizing where your money goes. So this could also make you think more carefully about your spendings, your outgoings. So it's a really good time for reviewing your spendings, for reviewing your budget. And it's a good time also for setting a clear budget for the next few weeks. Now, around the 6th, 7th, you will notice a significant shift of energy, especially in your social life, because Mars will sextile Pluto in Aquarius in your 11th house, which can really help you. This energy can help you connect with some influential, powerful people. It's a good time for networking, generally for developing significant connections, especially connections, networks that support your goals, your objectives for the future. So don't be afraid to reach out for help or ask for advice during this time. There's a lot of supportive energy. And in the air, Venus enters Scorpio on the same day, and this is your 8th house. So this energy brings a lot of depth throughout the month of November, intensity into your relationships, both romantic and business. This is about being honest, authentic. Nothing superficial will satisfy you. All right, so by the weekend, Mercury stations retrograde in your ninth house, and this is happening on the 9th of November at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So as I discussed in the monthly horoscopes video, this retrograde will end in Scorpio. As of the 19th, Mercury moves into Scorpio and it ends its retrograde on the 29th. So this retrograde will be in the ninth house for the time being. This is a weekly horoscope, so we are looking at the energies happening throughout the week. So yes, this energy starts in the ninth house. So this is a good time for generally, if you're going to be traveling, make sure you double check your travel plans. This is a good time for double checking, reviewing, reassessing any contracts, legal paperwork. And this is a good time for generally the first 2 weeks of this retrograde, good time for conducting research studies, for perhaps returning to some unfinished projects, goals, studies. For instance, with the retrograde, is a good time for giving something another chance. So perhaps if you failed an exam, then this is a good time for retaking an exam, for reviewing your direction, for generally reevaluating your educational plans and goals. It's not a good time for starting anything new, but for reviewing, reassessing anything that you have already began before this retrograde, began in connection to anything to do with personal development, travel, foreign people, foreign connections overall, coaching, for example, learning, studying, and so on. All right, so thank you so much, Aries. And now let's have a look at Taurus. Taurus, welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week starting on the 3rd. So here, as we start this brand new week on November the 4th, Mars enters Sagittarius. So this is your area of the 8th house of shared and joint resources, finances, the area of transformation. So this is generally where you might have some really deep and profound thoughts, questions about yourself, about who you can trust. And at the same time, this is also about realizing what's valuable, what truly matters. So you might feel more motivated at the same time to deal with any joint financial ventures, matters, anything to do with debts, agreements. But keep in mind that as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, your 8th house, it forms an opposition with Uranus in Taurus in your 2nd house. So this is an immediate energetical alignment here happening as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, and it could bring some unexpected or sudden even expenses, some surprises around money, around investments, for example, if you have any, or perhaps even a shift in how you value yourself, for example. So generally try not to make any impulsive financial moves early in the week, because here the energies are slightly unpredictable. Generally, think carefully, make sure you're clear and that you've got full clarity. Take a step back overall before making any big purchases or before signing any important agreements. Because if something feels off, if something feels strange, uncertain, then it probably is. Now on November the 5th, there's a full moon in your sign, in your 1st house at 13 degrees. And this is a very powerful full moon. It generally, the focus is on you. It's happening in your house, in your 1st house, the house of identity, your goals, your objectives. So it could feel potentially like a turning point. Maybe during this time, you'll be letting go of generally habits, patterns that no longer serve your growth. So this is like a personal rebirth in a way, a personal reinvention, if you will. So perhaps this is a time when you might realize things that perhaps you've been kind of avoiding as well. And this could be a time when you might be making an important decision. And generally, this is a time to make choices that truly matter, that feel true to you. And that's here the full moon. Now, as the week goes on, Mars forms a very harmonious alignment to Pluto. And here we've got Mars in Sagittarius connecting with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. It's a sextile. Now, Pluto is in your 10th house, so a great day. And let me just tell you when exactly this is happening. It's on the 6th. So this is a fantastic day overall for generally for business, for business negotiations, for making progress in your public life, in your professional life, in your career. If you've been working toward a significant milestone, a promotion, a project launch, or anything that is connected to generally expansion in your professional world, then you could get a boost of confidence around this time, or perhaps that sense of recognition. Then Venus enters Scorpio on the 6th. So that's here happening in your area of the relationships, unions, partnerships. So this energy deepens, can really help you to deepen your connections, to deepen your relationships. It could generally also indicate that if something has felt off or unbalanced, then perhaps this transit could force you or prompt you to have necessary conversations about what's working, what isn't. And at the same time, Venus will also connect with Pluto by a square on the 8th. And this energy is especially significant for being transparent, honest, within one-to-one connections and relationships, friendships even. So keep this in mind. Now, here on the 9th, by the weekend, Mercury turns retrograde in Sagittarius in your 8th house at 6 degrees. So generally, this is a time to slow down, review, reassess any financial paperwork. It's a good time for reviewing your taxes, especially until the 19th, because on the 19th, Mercury moves back into Scorpio, but it's also a good time for reviewing any loans, debts, and maybe even your intimate connection, relationship, or some kind of financial partnerships that you might be involved in. So this is overall a time to reflect, not to react or overreact. So thank you very much, Taurus. And now Geminis, welcome. Welcome to your weekly horoscope. We start with Mars then moving into Sagittarius, into your 7th house, where it will remain throughout the month of November. This energy brings a lot of energy, motivation, passion to your one-to-one connections. Not just love, but also your personal connections, your business connections, professional connections as well. So this energy could make you feel more assertive. And generally, this energy it helps you to generally to be more confident and to stand your ground, especially for what you believe. So as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition to Uranus in Gemini, and this can stir up some tension. So really keep this in mind, these early days of this upcoming week. And this energy could indicate some surprises. Generally, it could indicate someone might surprise you with their presence, with how they respond to something that you share with them. So generally, if you feel like someone is pushing your buttons, then perhaps instead of reacting impulsively, impose. And you don't have to prove your point. And this is a chance for you to practice generally controlling your emotions, your feelings, without reacting to impulsively, for example. Now, at the same time, the early days of the week this isn't really a good time for making any major relationship-related decisions, especially with all that erratic energy of Uranus. Now, on the 5th, we've got the full moon in Taurus at 13 degrees of Taurus in your 12th house. And the 12th house, of course, this is the hidden area of your chart, the subconscious, the area of the subconscious emotions, hidden energies. So this is an amazing day to recharge, reflect, withdraw, contemplate. You can really collect your thoughts during those moments of solitude. You might feel extra sensitive during this time, or maybe even tired, and try not to overload your schedule. This is a day to prioritize self-care. It's a good day for saving some time for some peace and quiet. It's really, really essential that you regenerate your energies during this time. And overall, here is a good time also for recharging, for a detox. And here that's the full moon. Now on the 6th, we've got Mars and Pluto sextile. So here Pluto is in your 9th house, and Mars is in your 7th house in Scorpio. So it's a very productive day, without a doubt, and it's a good day for collaborations, for working with others overall. And at the same time, this is also a good day for resolving any issues in one-to-one connections, for clearing the air, especially if something that has been building up between yourself and the other person, your partner, or your client, your colleague, then this is a day to talk things through honestly. Now, Venus enters Scorpio, your 6th house, and this is happening Venus enters Scorpio is on the 6th. And this is your 6th house of health, over your lifestyle, of your routines. This energy really encourages you to bring more balance, more harmony, more intention into your daily life reality. Maybe that means setting better work boundaries, or perhaps it could be about implementing some healthier habits to your daily routine. However, pay attention, because as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square to Pluto in Aquarius, and this energy is exact on the 8th. So here with Venus and Pluto square, watch out for any tendencies connected to overworking, or perhaps taking on too many responsibilities, because this could potentially drain your energies, drain you emotionally. Now, by the weekend, Mercury stations retrograde in Sagittarius at 6 degrees. That's your ruling planet. So whenever Mercury is retrograde, you tend to withdraw, and every now and then at least go within, reevaluate. But at the same time, this is happening in your relationship area. So this could also indicate that you might be reconnecting with people that you haven't seen or spoken to for quite some time. This energy could potentially bring some miscommunications in communication. So communicate as clearly as you can. Double check your messages, any contracts during this time. And at the same time, people who return back into your reality during this time, this is also a chance, especially here if it's someone that perhaps with whom you left things unresolved. This is your chance for closure, for clarity. So thank you so much, Geminis. And let's move into Cancers. Cancers, welcome to your weekly horoscope. So here we start this brand new week with Mars moving into Sagittarius, and this is your 6th house of work, daily life, daily routine, your health. So this transit could give you this massive burst of motivation and a big push to get organized, to perhaps take a better care of yourself, of your physical body. It's a good time for self-improvement, for improving your daily life overall. But at the same time, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition to Uranus in your 12th house of Gemini. So this can bring some unexpected distractions, maybe some issues with electronic devices, or perhaps even moments of burnout because of that 12th house activation. So try not to do everything at once. Prioritize what's important, what's significant, and also make sure that you'll find time for rest. Now, the full moon on November the 5th takes place in the sign of Taurus, in your 11th house of friendships, your future goals, your community. So here, full moons bring full clarity, full awareness. Something you've been working on towards might finally show some good results. It might finally pay off, or perhaps you might realize that maybe it's time to let go of some old dreams or old goals that no longer align with your reality, with the person that you're becoming. So it's a good time to for having these realizations, for reviewing your goals. But at the same time, you might also find yourself reconnecting with some people, some supportive people. So it's also about spending some quality time with people who understand you, with people who get you. Now, by November the 6th, Mars forms a really supportive sextile with Pluto in your 8th house now. So it's a good day for problem solving, for dealing with situations, financial or emotional matters where perhaps you've been feeling stuck. Because this energy, this transit can help you to dive deeper into complex issues and resolve them, transform them. Now, Venus enters Scorpio, November the 6th, and this is your 5th house of joy, happiness, entertainment, creativity, romance, children. So this transit overall can bring a lot of passion, inspiration, confidence into the creative area of your life. You might feel like starting a new project, a new hobby. Maybe this is also about your romantic relationship and deepening. There's romance in the air. This transit can also help you improve your relationship with your children. But at the same time, watch out, because as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a challenging square on the 8th with Pluto in Aquarius. So what does it mean? Try to generally, this energy can bring some really obsessive thoughts, behavioral patterns. So try generally to avoid controlling or analyzing every single thing. Try not to force things. Try not to force the outcomes. Let there be a little bit of fun. Now, by the weekend, on the 9th, Mercury stations retrograde in Sagittarius at 6 degrees in your 6th house. So here, Mercury will be retrograde throughout the month overall until the 19th in Sagittarius. So during this time, you'll be reviewing, reassessing your daily life, daily schedule, your daily reality overall. Now, during this time, make sure you double check your emails, appointments, work deadlines as well. And during this time, if generally you might realize that perhaps your routine feels off, or perhaps you might realize that you need to exercise more regularly, or this is a good time for generally reestablishing your health habits, for taking a better care of yourself, for reviewing your eating habits, your work and life balance overall. Thank you very much, Cancers. And now Leos, welcome to your weekly horoscope. So here we start with Mars, the planet of drive, action, motivation, moving into Sagittarius on November the 4th, into your 5th house of creativity, children, romance, the creative self-expression. So Mars will remain here throughout the whole of the month, November. This energy brings this boost of motivation, inspiration, and fun. So a good time for reconnecting with interests, activities that bring fun. It's a good time for generally engaging in new hobbies, projects, going on a date, or perhaps it's about reconnecting with your inner child, being more authentic in your expression, self-expression overall. So this transit overall brings more confidence, more assertion as well. Now, at the same time, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition with Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house of friendships, long-term goals. And this energy, this transit, and this opposition could bring some potential surprises. So perhaps some plans that you had with your friends might suddenly change or shift. Perhaps you might realize that a partnership or collaboration, for example, isn't aligned anymore. Or perhaps it could be also about some experiencing some unexpected situations socially or online. So try not to overreact because this energy is about staying flexible, adaptable, but overall be prepared for generally your plans taking a different turn or an unexpected turn. All right, so as we move forward on November the 5th, we've got a full moon. There's a full moon happening in the sign of Taurus at 13 degrees in your 10th house of career, reputation, and public image overall. So generally something that you've been working towards, you've been building towards, professionally speaking, or in your outside world, public life, could now come to fruition, conclusion, culmination. Maybe this is about a project or a business launch. Perhaps this could be about getting recognized for your hard work. Or perhaps you might also, for some, this could manifest as a big realization that perhaps it's time to make a career change. So whatever the scenario, it's this energy, this full moon is here to help you to clear your path, generally to feel or to get clearer on your direction, on your career direction, on your life direction overall. And by November the 6th, Mars forms a really beautiful sextile to Pluto in Aquarius in your 7th house. So this energy can help you. Generally, this is a good day for working with others, for business meetings, partnerships, for collaborations, for therapy sessions, working with clients on one-to-one basis. Venus enters Scorpio that same day, and that's your 4th house of home and family dynamics, for beautifying your home, for finding more harmony, comfort within your home and family surroundings. But as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square with Pluto in Aquarius in your 8th house, in your 7th house. So what does it mean? So this generally, watch out for anyone in your family circle, or perhaps a client, a friend, someone who generally might overstep your boundaries. So this energy can be quite intense, and it can be quite challenging. So the goal here is to react calmly. So the goal is here to react calmly to whatever that happens, without letting anyone disturb your emotions, disturb your peace. And on November 9th, we've got Mercury station retrograde in Sagittarius at 6 degrees in your 5th house. So here, the 5th house is the area of romance, children, creativity, hobbies, interests, the creative self-expression. So here, Mercury retrograde is great for reviewing, reassessing, reevaluating. And it's not a good time for starting anything brand new. So a wonderful time for reconnecting with your hobbies, with your interests. A great time for reevaluating your parenting style. Now, this retrograde could bring some setbacks, delays, but at the same time, this is a time to slow down, reflect, see what's working, see what's not working in your business, at your household, with your children, in your parenting style, in your romantic relationships. So it's good to have these retrogrades to slow down and review what is actually going on, what has been happening before we move forward. So thank you very much. And let's have a look at Virgos. Virgos, welcome. Virgos, we start this brand new week with Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius into your fourth house of home, family, dynamic. So with Mars in this area of your life, overall, throughout the month of November, you might feel this really strong urge to fix whatever isn't working. So, fix something around the house overall. It's a good time for getting engaged in DIYs. It's a good time for reorganizing your living space. It's a good time for decluttering, for renovating. And also, this is a time for resolving any or addressing at least any issues that are happening in the household. However, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an immediate opposition with Uranus in Gemini in your 10th house. So this energy, this transit could bring sudden changes in your career, in your outside world, public life. And these changes, shifts could directly affect or impact your emotional peace, your home and family space as well. So if something at work feels unstable during this time, perhaps you might be dealing with a last minute deadline, or this could be about some responsibilities undergoing a change, a shift of energy. So whatever the scenario, whatever disruptions are taking place in your outside world career, don't let them throw you off. Try to focus on what you can control, and perhaps don't get affected on what you can't control. Don't let it discourage you. So on November the 5th, there's a full moon in Taurus, and this full moon lights up your area of foreign travel, foreign people, higher education, higher learning. So this full moon could bring to light. Generally, you might get clarity during this time on the direction that you're heading with your life, on your long-term plans, for example. This could be also about making an important decision about a travel, an upcoming trip travel. This could be also connected to your studies, professional growth, development. If you've been feeling stuck, for example, or in your life, in the direction that you're heading, or if you've been stressing about what's next, then this full moon can really help you see the bigger picture. So pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to any synchronicities to your intuition. Now, by November the 6th, Mars forms a beautiful sextile with Pluto in Aquarius in your 6th house of daily life, health, work. So this is an amazing energy for problem solving, for research, or researching overall. For this energy can make you feel very efficient. So at the same time, this is also a good day for addressing any health issues. You might realize that perhaps you haven't been looking after your physical body, your health effectively, efficiently enough recently, and this is a good time for diving deeper into these topics. You might feel more productive overall than you generally have felt in quite some time. Now, Venus enters Scorpio, and that's happening. Venus in Scorpio is that's the 6th, and with Venus in Scorpio, that's your 3rd house of communication. So a beautiful transit for engaging in art, in writing, in blogging, podcasting, and this energy also helps. Generally, it's beneficial for social engagements, social connections. But as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square with Pluto in Aquarius in your 6th house. So this generally energy brings intensity. So generally watch out for any potential power struggles, especially in your connection with females. Venus is a feminine energy, with people who are feminine overall, and or with generally individuals of a feminine nature, especially during communications, conversations, debates about work, about responsibilities. This is about being direct without sugar coating. Now, by the weekend, Mercury starts its retrograde phase in Sagittarius at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. And this is, of course, your ruling planet. So a very important day for you. Mercury will retrograde throughout the whole of the month. The retrograde starts in Sagittarius and it ends in Scorpio. But at this point during this week, it will be in Sagittarius in your 4th house, which means it's time to slow down. It's not a good time for rushing with anything, especially some new home repairs or anything brand new that comes into your mind. Mars is here, so yes, carry on with your home repairs, but generally, ideally with things that need attention, that need to be addressed, that have been already on your mind for quite some time. So carry on with developments, ideas that perhaps were initiated before this retrograde began, but use this retrograde overall to declutter, to reconnect with your family members. So it's a good time for decluttering, redoing something that perhaps was done poorly in the past. This is a good time for redoing it, giving it another go, for repainting your walls, for example. So thank you very much, Virgos. And now Libras, welcome to your weekly horoscope. So here we start this brand new week with Mars, the planet of action, drive, motivation, moving to Sagittarius. And this is happening on the 4th into your 3rd house. The 3rd house, this is the house of learning, studying, movement, short distance travel overall, your siblings, next of kin. So under the influence of this transit, which will influence your life throughout the month of November, you'll probably feel more driven to or motivated to communicate, to share your idea, to start conversations, for example, to dive into interesting projects. That just keep in mind that as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition to Uranus in Gemini in your 9th house. And this can bring some sudden changes to your plans, to any travel plans, for example, educational plans even as well. So at the same time, if this is a time when you'll be engaged in some important meetings, debates, conversations, if someone challenges your opinion, try to stay open-minded instead of overly defensive, because this energy is about learning through contrast. So growth comes through contrast overall, not proving who is right and who isn't, or yeah, that's it. Now, the full moon in Taurus happening on November the 5th highlights your 8th house of shared and joint resources, intimacy, and emotional depth. So what does it mean? This indicates that, first of all, full moons bring full clarity and heightened intuition. So you might have for example, this could be about a financial matter that needs your attention, that needs to be addressed, like joint accounts or taxes, or perhaps conversations about shared and joint shared responsibilities within your household, within your business. It's also a time for a good time for being honest, for having honest conversations. So if you've been holding something in, then this full moon can really help you release it. Now, then on November the 6th, Mars forms a beautiful sextile with Pluto in your 5th house. So this energy brings a really big boost of creativity, passion, confidence. It might be that you might have a really interesting, powerful idea for your next project. This energy generally gives you courage and drive to express yourself authentically, for example. So it's a good day for presenting work, for running a meeting, for example. There is a lot of courageous energy here in the air. Now, at that same day, Venus, your ruling planet, enters Scorpio, and here that's your 2nd house of money, self-worth, resources, possession. So this energy is it's going to influence your life throughout the month of November. So during this time, you might start to think more seriously about your financial goals, objectives. And at the same time, this transit could give your financial area of life a boost. But at the same time, whenever Venus is in the second house, it also makes us want to spend money on things of value, luxuries. So here, as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms an opposition to Pluto, which is exact on the 8th. So at the same time, this is a very difficult. This is a very difficult energy, and it could manifest as potential control dynamics or power dynamics in relationships, and perhaps this could be also about hearing something from someone that perhaps might not feel very nice. Perhaps this could be about a strong realization, something that perhaps is like facing a truth that perhaps you've been avoiding. So then on November, we've got Mercury station retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, and this is happening in your 9th house. And here we've got the planet of communication turning retrograde. So overall, during the month of November, try to generally, if you're going to be traveling, make sure you check your travel plans in advance. Don't leave it to the last minute. This is a good transit for retaking an exam. This energy could see you also returning to some projects, study materials that perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete, something to do with self-growth, self-development related matters as well. Try to back up all your important files and data. And at the same time, this isn't a good time for signing any important documents. If you can, try to leave them until the 29th of November. Thank you very much. And now let's have a look at Scorpio. Scorpio, welcome. Scorpio, we start this brand new week with Mars, your traditional ruler, moving into Sagittarius, into your second house of finances and values. So generally throughout the month of November, you will likely feel very driven, very motivated to earn more, to get more organized with money. And this is also a kind of energy that can help you to assert yourself in business. Now, on the same day, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition with Uranus in your 8th house. And this could potentially bring some sudden changes, especially around finances or perhaps any emotional matters of a deeper nature in your 8th house. So this energy could potentially bring some sudden changes around finances, investments, some emotional matters of a deeper nature. So perhaps the way this could manifest, this energy could manifest, is perhaps this could indicate that your partner's financial situation is undergoing a shift. Or perhaps this could be about you realizing that you've been giving too much emotionally, materially, in your personal life, in your business. So either way, whatever the scenario, it's like a wake-up call, a chance to reevaluate, redefine what feels fair in your life, what feels balanced or what feels out of balance. Now, on November the 5th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Taurus, highlighting your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So here, one-to-one connections, one-to-one relationships come into light, and this full moon could indicate that perhaps a relationship, an important partnership, could reach a turning point during this time. Now, if things have felt one-sided in a certain relationship in your life, then this lunation can help you see what's working and what isn't. Now, for some Scorpios, this could also indicate that maybe it's time to set clearer and healthier boundaries with certain individuals in your life. But on a different level, this could also indicate an opportunity to deepen some of your important commitments in your life. So whatever the scenario with Taurus and Scorpio, of course, because this is Scorpio season, honesty and being real is really important. Now on November the 6th, Mars forms a supportive sextile with Pluto in Aquarius in your fourth house. And this energy gives you a lot of strength, courage, and it's a good time for dealing with deeper aspects of your home life, of your family life. So it's a good time for repairing, fixing some family relationships, for example. But at the same time, it's also a good day for dealing with property issues. And this could also see you having some really deep and important conversations with some family members about the situation that's currently happening in your life. Now, that same day, Venus enters your sign, Scorpio. So, a beautiful boost of magnetism, a really beautiful magnetic energy that can help you reconnect with what makes you feel happy and confident. So generally with Venus in your first house, you attract positive vibe, positive opportunities, and people see you in a different light as well. As now on the 8th, so pretty much as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square to Pluto in Aquarius. And this energy, watch out for any power dynamics, power struggles, the need to control too much, for example. And it's if you feel like the energies are intensifying between yourself and another person, then perhaps it's better to take a step back rather than reacting in the moment. Now, by the weekend, Mercury turns retrograde in Sagittarius, and this is happening in your second house. So your second house, of course, where Mars is present. So throughout the month of November, try not to generally spend money on unnecessary things or make any massive big purchases. Try to hold off on overspending or spending on unnecessary things, but also be mindful of signing any contracts during this time. This is a time to review your spendings, review your budget, and if you have your own business, it's a good time for updating pricing of your services, of your products, for example, as well. So thank you very much, Scorpios. And let's have a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly horoscope. So this week, Mars enters your sign. So it's a big deal, of course. Mars in the first house feels much stronger than in the 12th house by transit, at least, of course, but natally also it brings different energies in the 12th and the first. But overall here, when Mars is in your first house, this energy really pushes you to take action, to take charge of your life, and to start something fresh, to make decisive moves forward, to reach your goals, to speak up about what you want, about what you desire. So this energy makes you feel more confident, more motivated, more driven, but also ready to move forward. Now, also on the same day, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, your first house, it forms an opposition to Uranus in the sign of Gemini in your seventh house. So we've got the first and the seventh house dynamic. This could bring some sudden tension or perhaps some surprises with partners, with your clients, coworkers, for example. So if someone tries to test your patience or someone generally really upsets you, then take a deep breath before reacting, because it's very easy to overreact. Try not to take everything personally during this time as well, because sometimes certain situations in our life are here to teach us to stay strong in any kind of situation without letting other people's chaos disturb our peace and quiet. Now, then on November the 5th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Taurus happening in your sixth house of work, health, and daily habits. All right, so full moons bring often a culmination, and they often generally heighten our intuition as well. This is happening in your sixth house and the house of health, work, daily life, self-improvement. So this is your chance to reassess your lifestyle, your routine, what's working, what isn't, what's helping you stay grounded, and perhaps what's draining your energy. So perhaps you might be finishing an important project during this time, reaching a significant deadline, Or perhaps this full moon could also bring more clarity about a job situation. Or perhaps you might realize that it's time to bring more structure into your day-to-day reality. Now, by November the 6th, Mars forms a beautiful sextile with Pluto in Aquarius in your third house. So this energy is amazing for conducting research studies, for having meaningful conversations. Anything surface level is not going to really satisfy you. So this is a good day to get organized, to get things going, to take charge of a certain situation. And also, this energy can make you more direct in your communication style. So also be mindful of how you get your message across, because your words carry a lot of meaning and intensity potentially during this time. All right, so here Venus enters Scorpio on the 6th, and that's your 12th house of hidden matters, subconscious patterns, and spirituality. So this energy could make you more introspective, more private about your relationships, about your love life. And this energy, it's generally, this is a good time for creativity. Really, really amazing time for creativity. And this transit brings a lot of inspiration. This transit at times makes us feel let down by people, only because sometimes we feel unappreciated. Our efforts are not being recognized. So don't take things too personally during this time. This is a chance to see. This is a transit that is here to teach you to value yourself without seeking external validation. But pay attention, because as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it will square Pluto in Aquarius on the 8th. And watch out for any tendencies connected to overthinking or generally digging too deep into the past. Try to focus on the present. Realize that you can't change the past, but you can use the wisdom from past experience and not make the same mistakes in the future. Now, as we end this week, Mercury turns direct in Sagittarius at 6 degrees in your first house. So here, the energies begin to slow down. And this energy is great for reviewing your goals, your objectives for the future, what's working, what isn't. It's a good time for reviewing your lifestyle, your routines, your habits. This energy could also it could make you more of a daydreamer, more of an introspective individual. But at the same time, this could also see you reconnecting with people from the past, people you haven't seen or spoken to for quite some time. It's a good time for reconnecting with your passions, with your interests as well. Be mindful of any major makeovers, because you might regret them. And it's time to slow down overall. Slow down and let yourself reflect. So thank you very much, Sagittarius. And now Capricorns, welcome to your weekly horoscope. So we start this brand new week with Mars, planet of action, drive, courage, moving into your 12th house as we begin this brand new week. So the 12th house is the hidden area of the chart, the area of subconscious patterns, spirituality, the hidden aspects of life. So at first, you might feel like your energy is low, but because generally with Mars in the 12th house, Mars tends to repress that Martian energy. So at first, you might feel like your energy is low and things are moving at a slower pace. Perhaps you might feel that your goals are moving slowly, but this is actually perfect timing for realizing what's working, what's been happening in your life. And this is a good time for working from behind the scenes, for preparing for future plans, future moves overall. So just be careful not to overdo it, because this is not generally the week for pushing too hard outwardly. Now, bear in mind with Mars in the 12th house, this is a transit, a kind of transit that really requires some kind of physical activity. Mars in the 12th house tends to repress our anger. And it can make us restless if we don't engage in some physical, maybe even creative activity that can help you to de-stress and relax. But here on the same day, as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition with Uranus in your 6th house. So this could potentially bring some sudden changes at your work, perhaps some unexpected deadlines that you were not expecting, or some surprises in your daily reality, in your daily life. So if something unpredictable happens during this time, try not to panic. Instead, try to slow down, step back, and adjust your schedule, adjust your plans. Here, flexibility, adaptability is key during these initial days of the week. Now on the 5th, we've got a full moon happening in the sign of Taurus, in your 5th house of creativity, self-expression, and fun entertainment. So during this time, I might feel this really strong push to finally complete an important project, for example, or perhaps this could be about reconnecting with something that really inspires you, that brings you joy and happiness. So even small creative activities could really bring that major boost of energy, a sense of accomplishment as well. So it's a really, really beautiful full moon for generally engaging in activities, things that overall bring that sense of happiness, joy. This could also indicate that your children might be going through this major milestone, or perhaps you might also have some strong realizations about your romantic side of your life. What's working, what isn't, perhaps where is this going? These sort of questions may pop up as well. Now, by November the 6th, Mars forms a beautiful sextile with Pluto in Aquarius. And here, that's your 2nd house where Pluto is staying. So an amazing day for focusing on practical, but at the same time, actionable steps rather than big leaps. So decisions, transformations, if you will. So this energy gives you this amazing ability for improving your finances, for budgeting, for generally reviewing your financial goals, objectives. So it's a really, really powerful energy overall. Now, Venus enters Scorpio on the 6th, and that's your 11th house. So friendships, collaborations, networking. So overall, November could be a great month for engaging in social engagements. This energy could see you networking, collaborating with others, reconnecting with friends as well, since we'll have Mercury retrograde as of the 9th, which we'll explore in a moment. However, just watch out, because as soon as Venus enters Scorpio on the 6th, on the 8th, it forms a square with Pluto in Aquarius. So just watch out for any tendencies connected to obsessive thinking or anything to do with control, power struggles. Try to avoid conflicts, especially about money. Now, on the 9th of November, Mercury turns retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius in your 12th house. So here, Mercury will stay retrograde in Sagittarius until the 19th, and then it will retrograde into Scorpio, where this retrograde will end on the 29th. So here, generally with Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, this energy could make you more introspective than usual, more in your head, and take extra care with communications during this time, with paperwork, digital documents as well. It's very easy to generally miss an important detail. So really try to focus. Give yourself extra time when reviewing important paperwork documents, for example. Read your messages before you click send. This is a good time for planning, reflecting, contemplation as well. And it's not a good time for finalizing any big decisions, any big moves. So thank you very much, Capricorns. And let's have a look at Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome to your weekly horoscope for the upcoming week. So here we start this brand new month with Mars entering Sagittarius. This energy throughout the month of November could really make you motivated and driven to reach some important goals, objectives, milestones. And this could also see you leading a project, for example. So you might become a leader of an important project. You might be leading a group, for instance. So lots of generally driven energy here that can be very easily directed towards leading a project or some community effort. But this energy could also see you reconnecting with your friends, with your social circles, for example, with people who share similar vision. Now be mindful, because as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition with Uranus in Gemini in your 5th house. And this could indicate that these initial days of the week, there is you might experience during this time some unexpected situations, or perhaps you might receive some sudden news, or this could be connected to some sudden unexpected events around a friend or some kind of creative project, or maybe even a romantic situation that could disrupt your peace, your stability, that could throw you off balance overall. So this is a time overall to be open-minded, flexible, adaptable. Instead of trying to control every single detail, perhaps try to go with the flow and adjust as needed. Now, on the 5th, we've got a full moon happening in Taurus, your 4th house of home, family, emotional safety and security. So full moons often bring clarity, heightened awareness, and this is happening here in this private area of your chart. So perhaps something in your home or in your family life could reach a turning point, will need your attention, or perhaps could reach completion. Maybe this is about a move, renovation, maybe about a realization what home truly means to you. So generally, whatever the scenario, this full moon is a wonderful time for generally reconnecting with your roots, for decluttering, for clearing your inner space, for bringing more comfort, for bringing more stability into this area of your life. Well, by November the 6th, Mars forms a beautiful sextile with Pluto in your sign. This energy is really powerful, very strategic, a good time for taking action. It could be that, of course, Pluto is activated in your 1st house. Maybe this energy could manifest as you finally reaching an important life goal, an important milestone, for example. So use your words wisely during this time, because your influence is really powerful at this time. But at the same time, this is about being authentic, especially in your influence. All right, so that same day also Venus enters Scorpio, and that's your 10th house of career, your public life, and professional image. Very, very beautiful energy that will influence your outside world, public life throughout the month of November. And this energy can help you attract positive opportunities. It can help you to bring more balance into this area of your life, but it can also attract some interesting female connections as well in your professional world. So it's a good time for overall for getting yourself out there. But here, bear in mind that as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square with Pluto in Aquarius, which is exact on the 8th of November. And this energy, watch out for any power dynamics at your work, especially around the 8th, that could surface around this time. Try to stay composed, try to stay calm, take a step back. If you feel like things are getting out of control, if you feel like someone is trying to overstep your boundaries. So with Venus in a clash to Pluto, here the diplomacy and compromise is key. All right, so we end the week with Mercury stationing retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius in your 11th house. So here, Mercury will be retrograde throughout the month of November. It starts in Sagittarius on the 19th. Mercury moves back into Scorpio, and the retrograde ends on the 29th of November. All right, so here your 11th house is activated, so your area of groups, friendships, long-term goals and plans. So here throughout the month of November, especially between the 9th and the 19th, you might find yourself reconnecting with your friends, groups, some social networks, especially people you haven't seen for quite some time, people who you support, people who you find supportive, like-minded. But at the same time, this retrograde could also make you question your friendships, some friendships in your life, especially with people with whom you don't feel fully aligned, with people with whom you don't feel on the same page. Now, here with this retrograde, it's a wonderful time for reviewing, reassessing your goals, your objectives for the future. Remember, retrogrades are not great for signing anything brand new. It's a good time for reviewing, readjusting, not necessarily for starting anything from scratch. So thank you very much. And finally, Pisces, welcome to your weekly horoscope. We start this brand new week with Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius, and this is happening on the 5th of November in your 10th house. So here, this is your 10th house, so your public life, public image, your career, professional life growth and development. This energy brings a massive boost of motivation, drive, courage, lots of energy, and it generally pushes you to take charge of this area of your life, to make your mark overall. This is the opportunity to make your mark. So here, overall, the month of November gives you've got lots of motivation to move forward with your career-related goals, with your anything to do with reaching some major milestones in your public world, in your public life. Lots of energy. You can achieve a lot. I remember when Mars was transiting my 10th house, I've done so much work during that time. It was a very productive time because that's where the energy is centered. All right, so as soon as Mars enters Sagittarius, it forms an opposition to Uranus in the sign of Gemini in your 4th house. So watch out, because in these initial days of the week, this energy could potentially stir up some restless energy. So especially at your home, this could generally also indicate that perhaps there could be some unexpected, sudden disruptions in your personal life. So try to keep your schedule light throughout the week, especially these initial days of the week, because even something generally, if you are too fixed with your schedule and with whatever that you have planned, something minor could really really disrupt your plans in a really negative sense. So by staying open-minded, flexible, adaptable, and maybe by having a plan B, it can really help you to get through these energies. It can help you to find a much better balance as well. All right. Then on the 5th, we've got a full moon in Taurus happening at 13 degrees of Taurus in your area of communication, learning, short distance travel. So with a full moon in the 3rd house, very often this is connected to some important decisions we need to make, or perhaps some important news realization. So it's all about communication, our mindset, our thinking processes, for example. But at the same time, full moons bring clarity and awareness. So perhaps you might gain full clarity, much needed clarity around an important idea, project. So this is a time to be honest, authentic, and at the same time, it's a good time to release what's on your chest, so to speak. This could also see you completing a major project or some educational activity as well. Now, by November the 6th, Mars forms a supportive sextile to Pluto in your 12th house. And here it's a really supportive energy. It's a kind of energy that can help you to make some important moves, decisions in your career. And generally, this energy could also bring some important lessons, realizations. And during this time, you can really accomplish a lot by working from behind the scenes on your own quietly, rather than in a chaotic environment, or in a loud setting. Now on the 6th of November, on the other hand, Venus enters Scorpio, and that's your ninth house of foreign travel, foreign people, and your beliefs, life philosophy. So really beautiful energy that will influence this area of your life throughout the month of November. It's a good time for generally exploring something, activities, places, workshops that can help you to expand your mind and broaden your horizons as well. So, really beautiful energy for engaging in activities connected to self growth, self development, studies, for example. This energy is also beneficial for visiting places of beauty, of art, beautiful architecture, interesting history. Now, pay attention because as soon as Venus enters Scorpio, it forms a square to Pluto in Aquarius, and that's exact on the 9th. So, during this time, be mindful of any intense conversations, especially with if you're going to have conversations about beliefs or around different beliefs, political views. So, try to keep things open and try to stay away from any disruptions or disruptive, conflicting conversations. Now, we end the week with Mercury stationing retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius in your 10th house. This retrograde ends on the 29th of November in Scorpio, and on the 19th, Mercury leaves Sagittarius. So it starts here in the 10th house. So overall, between the 9th and the 19th, things will slow down, the energies will slow down, and it's a time to review your life direction, your career decisions. Double check communication with your bosses, your clients, business partners, for example. Double check your messages, emails before sending. Clicking send button. At the same time, use this time to review, reassess, reevaluate your professional path. This is a chance to adjust your goals before moving forward. So it's not a good time for making any big moves, big career moves, but rather to review, reassess, see what's working, see what needs adjustment. So thank you very much.